Hey, I'm Noodle Yeti, and this is going to be a +5 Miss Tirna Scythe. So far this is the highest key I've done across all my tanks. I'm really struggling with recording, or remembering to record everything, but hopefully that will clear up soon. I did record a depletion for my Prot Warrior, and that one actually seems to be the one I'm having the most trouble with, but we're not here to talk about Prot Warrior. We have a blood DK on screen right now. And I'm gonna go ahead and skip forward a little bit here until the key actually starts.
The void.
But I'm really enjoying it. I think I'm starting to get more of an idea of what I'm supposed to be doing on Blood DK. And just rotating all of my defensives appears to be exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. Like, pretty much never overlap something is what it feels like. And one of the things that I do struggle with is I always overlap, what is it called? Rune Weapon and A-Bomb Limb. Although I'm not quite sure, besides giving me, what's it called, Bone Shield charges, I'm not quite sure what else A-Bomb Limb is good for. So I think that's going to be something I open pulls with just to make sure that I have Bone Shield charges going on. One of the first things that I noticed before I even started talking was I actually don't have a set focus macro, and my interrupt does not appear to be a focus interrupt macro. Which would be, it's going to be very, I think it's going to become more and more important to be able to interrupt priority targets while DPSing down the highest health target. That's something I've noticed people don't really quite get right all the time. Like, even like some of my friends that I've run with for a while, I'll hear them say things like, oh no, you want to focus down this particular mob. Even though that particular mob has little amount of health, it just has one particular cast that people seem to worry about. And it's like, no, you just put that one on your focus and focus down the highest health targets. That's what's going to make the key go fastest. So this pull here, I really like to skip this one, but now that I've been thinking about it, I'm not quite sure what's easier, this pull or one of the ones at the end. I mean, sure, I have to kite, which is going to suck. You have a shaman healer or a resto druid with their efflorescence and their healing rain or whatever, but that's not really my problem, I guess. I mean, it should be. I'm not quite sure what benefit I get from standing in healing rain, but they seem to put it down all the time, so it might have some sort of interaction. And I think in this run, as you can see, I was actually trying to stand in it just to maybe make their job a little easier. I don't know. I don't play healers, so I have no idea what's going on with them.
A stone. Soul split. Soul burst.
So I think here, I just made a build where I took away my AMZ because I was noticing that I wasn't really pushing it a whole lot. But now that I'm looking at this, I think this pull here with the double harvesters would actually be really good for it, because we do get that debuff that increases our damage taken, and they're constantly casting a magic spell on us. Yeah, that soul split right there. I still have to get that weak aura that displays what type of damage it is, so that way I can have a better idea when I am watching this footage of, okay, I want to make sure I save AMS for this or save AMZ for that. Although I'm not quite sure how big of a defensive benefit AMZ has. I'll have to read that and compare. I think in the future I should be able to, once I'm more comfortable on tank, and I think once I start playing with healers that are a little bit more comfortable with it, I should probably start pulling that pack before this one into these two. Maybe triggering these guys, pulling them down when we run to get the mushrooms or something like that. But I think in order to save time, it would be really good to combo this pull and the previous pull. What was really frustrating is I had run somebody else's 3 miss right before this. I think one of our guys, I think it was an augmentation evoker, he died on Mistcaller. I forget what happened, but he just died, like right at the start, and as soon as he died, he just left the party. Now, I didn't know this. I thought when you leave the party, it starts like a 1-minute countdown until it kicks you out. But apparently if it's during a boss fight, they have to sit there the entire time unless they close the game client and just watch you guys fight the boss. And at the end of the boss, I whisper to the guy, I'm like, why would you leave? Like, what's your problem? And the dude said something like, he said something like, oh, like, I don't want to carry the key holder. Like, the key holder was doing terrible. He was beneath me in damage and he just kept dying all the time. In a +3. But he's like, you don't deserve that, blah, blah, blah. And then he's like, just invite me back. And so I requested to invite the guy back, and he did. He invited him back, and we actually ended up timing the key. It was just kind of like how quick that guy was to just be like, well, I quit, I give up. It's like, what the hell, man? Like, we still have plenty of time. We did time it with him dead. Well, I mean, of course, he's an augmentation evoker. He's not really doing anything anyways. But we still finished the key, and or we still upgraded the key. It's like, come on, guy. Like, I remember back in the day, I don't know if people still remember this, but that dungeon, Shrine of the Storm, used to be such an insanely difficult dungeon. And I remember we timed, I think, this was the first time I ever tried pushing keys, ever tried playing Mythic Plus. It was a 19 Shrine of the Storm, and we ended up timing it with like almost 30 deaths. It was like in the 20s. And so it still just blows my mind to this day that people would just like see, oh, we hit 10 deaths, I'm out of here. I give up.
Spirit Bolt.
Anyways, I've been rambling, I haven't even been paying attention. I'm supposed to be paying attention to the gameplay here, but, you know.
Droman's Wrath, Spirit Bolt.
I can't remember if I pinged the boss, like, hey, just keep dealing boss damage here or what. But I think somebody... Oh, it wasn't in this one, that's right. It was in the 3. I pinged the boss and somebody decided to go back to DPSing Droman, so it just took forever. But if you guys don't know this, the boss doesn't take reduced damage outside of that phase. He takes increased damage during the phase. So yeah, you want to save your CDs for that, but if the boss gets low enough, you don't have to stop damaging him. I don't think, or I think this might have been the first dungeon I was using the weak aura. Like, you see the add-on in the upper left, but I think I also installed a weak aura for the maze as well. And if it shows up in this one, it's super annoying. I gotta resize that. Oh no, I think I already did resize it and reposition it. Right now, I think it's gonna be like right in the dead center of the screen, and it's massive. It takes up like the entire view space. But then after that, after I changed it, I put it in the upper left where the other add-on is right now.
Stone and sigil show the way. One does not
Anima Slash. Bramblethorn Coat.
Yeah, what I'm noticing is one of the things I do that I didn't do right here is that I'm using Rune Weapon and A-Bomb Limb, and then into Tombstone and the Bone Storm. I think I need to separate that. Maybe track it somehow with my Rune Weapon, and then once Rune Weapon's over, then go into A-Bomb and Tombstone. A-Bomb to get the Bone Shield charges, and then obviously Tombstone to spend them.
I don't have a thought.
No fooling you.
Animal Injection.
I don't know if we could still stun the Mistveil Stingers from leaping on people, but I think they apply a magic debuff to somebody. If I remember correctly, this is like knowledge that's just now popping into my head from Shadowlands. I think it's the Mistveil Stalker and the Butterfly or something like that. Mistveil Stinger.
Mist Ward.
Oh, I didn't see that there was an option on the add-on to report the correct one. That's pretty neat. I'll have to actually utilize that next time. Yeah, here's the Weakor you could see. Super annoying. I gotta get that moved out of the way.
Anima Slash. Bramblethorn Coat. Mistborn.
And this is a spot where having a focus target would help tremendously in a focus interrupt.
Anima Slash. Anima Slash.
I need to get close.
A stone.
I think the voice actor for Xalatath is really good. Like, even though it sucks to deplete a key, the voice line you hear when you do, I really like it. The laugh is well done. Like, it feels bad, you know, you deplete a key, but at the same time, it's like, it's well done.
Nourish the forest. Mistborn. Nourish the
The voice acting is.
Mistborn. Mistborn.
I need to target something first.
No fooling you.
Another thing that I tried changing was originally I didn't have taunt on my bars or macroed into one of my basic abilities. I think I'm gonna have to fix that. I don't know if Blood's taunt is on the GCD or not. I know a couple tanks went through some changes going into Dragonflight, I think. No, not Dragonflight. Recently, some of the tanks went through some changes where before, like say for instance, Guardian Druid, I could have taunt macroed into Moonfire, and with Prop Paladin I had taunt macroed into Judgment, and it would all happen all in the same moment. But recently, I don't know what happened, and now all of a sudden I have to like sometimes push that macro twice in order to get those abilities to work at the same time or in succession. But it is what it is. I still gotta get used to pushing taunt more. I know my individual grips work as a taunt, which is why you'll see me use those to get aggro. But I just gotta get in the habit of also using the actual taunt button.
Anima Slash.
Because if
Bramblethorn Coat.
with Blood I can have it macroed, I think I will just go ahead and macro it into Death's Caress, I think it is. I think that's our ranged one that applies the Blood Boil dot and gives us, I think, like 1 or 2 charges of Bone Shield. But I have to say, so far this expansion, Blood DK is feeling absolutely incredible to play. I love it. I love how in control I feel so far.
A stone. To call
I've yet to actually get into anything that actually challenges me, which is kind of scary because I don't even know when to push my buttons or how to push them.
Anima Slash.
But at some point, it's going to matter.
Bramblethorn Coat.
And hopefully it feels just as in control then.
Mistborn. Anima Slash. Mistborn. Anima Slash.
So it looks like Anima Slash is a magical damage, because I didn't take any damage there from Anima Slash while I had AMS active. And I'm still not quite sure if that AoE right there actually deals any kind of damage.
You did it. Good guess.
Dodgeball.
a stone to call forth darkness.
So I just learned recently that the lines that you get from the boss when she's gonna do that ability or whatever it's called, I think it's called dodgeball is the mechanic. Those balls will actually damage any other enemies on the field, which I think is really cool. It's like if you have your entire party stand on the opposite side of the correct ad right before this happens, it should theoretically just one-shot the ad if all the orbs hit it. But I don't know. I don't know for sure. I haven't been able to actually test that, but I have seen it when at least one orbs hit one of the ads and it takes away a lot of health. Deals a lot of damage. Oh, and I think it is in this key. I had heard rumor that as a Death Knight you can use your AMS to just walk right into the Vulpin and clear it for everybody. Well, let's just say I did that later in this fight, and I kind of regret it, but we still beat the fight. I may or may not have frozen some teammates.
Dodgeball.
Oh, I think we just gave the boss a whole bunch of stacks.
Patty cake. Freeze tag fixation.
That was absolutely awful. I went all over the place,
Dodgeball.
running in circles, giving the boss stacks. That was insane. That was just stupid.
Freeze tag. Dodgeball. Freeze tag fixation. Patty cake. Guessing game.
Now, I don't know if it's still possible at all to two-phase this,
Dodgeball.
because she does start it really low, and I remember back in Shadowlands they
Freeze tag.
used to try and kill her before she got this last one off,
Freeze tag
this last
fixation.
guessing game. I think it's right here. Yeah, yep.
Dodgeball.
I just froze, I think, like 3 of my teammates. One of them just got slaughtered right there. Poor guy.
That was fun. I haven't played like that in so long. Let's do it again.
The time for dread has passed. The winds purge us all.
Yeah, at the time I just didn't realize how close they were to it. I think I was just so excited to try out using AMS to help people out.
Tirna scythe withers as the gorm feast. Balance must be restored.
Acid Nova.
So if it wasn't for the fact that so many people don't interrupt in pugs, I really want to pull this into the next pack, and I think I said that in the last miss key I posted. Yeah, I think I did actually. I don't remember. Did I even post a miss key yet?
Too far away.
I think I did a couple reviews, and the review or something was so bad, or I can't remember what happened, but anyways, I know in one of the previous miss keys I talked a little bit about wanting to double pull this, but
Stimulate regeneration.
I complain that people just start blowing their CDs as soon as like one pack gets into aggro, or one pack gets pulled, and it's like, come on, like, watch your tank or something, like,
Stimulate resistance.
or maybe don't pop your like biggest CDs right off the rip.
A stone. Forth the darkness.
But I definitely take these areas a lot slower, given how little people actually interrupt important things,
Acid Nova.
including me. And I think that would definitely improve if I got a
I need to get
focus macro and a focus interrupt macro.
Stimulate regeneration.
Or at least just remembered what my macro, or my focus hotkey is. I think it's F1 by default.
Acid globule. Stimulate resistance.
I don't know what it is on Druid though, because on my Druid, the F1 through 4 keys are my shapeshifts. I think even F5 ever since I bought that tree form or something like that.
Acid globule. Acid globule.
Do you see it?
Acid
I'm out
globule.
of range.
Oh, shit.
Acid globule.
Axe got a
Acid globule.
buff. 1 stack of the buff. I'm not quite sure what it does for mobs. It'd be kind of weird if it increased their mastery.
Hey, that's too far away.
It's like, what does their mastery do?
Acid globule. Acid globule.
Probably just be annoying. Live longer, hit harder, or something. Isn't that in essence what all stats do?
Acid expulsion. Decomposing acid. Accelerated incubation.
I also heard somebody say, another tank player, and they were talking about how, like, for that particular mechanic, the green swirls, they like to just stand in them for as long as possible until it starts dealing so much damage that they can't, or they're having a hard time or something like that. And I realized how good of an idea that is, because that just takes one more green swirly off the board from people having to avoid as it, like, flies around or something like that. I mean, it just sucks when it's during one of these orb phases, because then it's like you have to be moving around to pick them up. But, which I've seen some wild green swirlies on this boss now that we have to run around collecting these orbs. Really, you'll see these green swirlies just like flying across the map now, and
Accelerated incubation.
it's pretty wild.
Decomposing acid.
But I'll at least try and stand in them as much as possible, just to help take off one more green swirly for my teammates.
Coalescing poison. Decomposing acid. Consumption. Forging shield.
I like how I drop my death and decay and then immediately just start getting bombarded by the swirlies.
Expulsion. Accelerated incubation. Coalescing poison. Decomposing acid.
I like how that guy was just like following me for a little bit. He's got a purple AMS though. That's kind of cool looking.
Acid expulsion. Accelerated incubation. Coalescing poison.
People love this ping system though, I tell you what. I mean, it's really handy, but it can be really annoying when it's people are pinging obvious things. Like, why are you pinging obvious things? Only ping things that, you know, need pinging.
Stimulate resistance.
Where people will stand like before a boss and then they'll ping it, and it's like, yes, like, we will be fighting the boss.
Decomposing acid.
You don't need to ping it.
Regeneration. Decomposing acid globule.
Told you that you were destined.
But yeah, that was the key. We did it. We upgraded it +1.
Rejoice.
It put me almost to 1500 IO, which is kind of nice. I think this is the highest tank I have right now.
All things
But yeah, that was pretty much that. There's a few things I want to change, I think. I want to separate Rune Weapon and A-Bomb Limb. And with A-Bomb Limb, I think I want to use Tombstone and, what's it called? Bone Storm. I want to use those two together. I think that'll probably be the next best defensive option I can do. And then I definitely need to start using my regular taunt more often. And just get in the habit of rolling every CD. But yeah. Anyways, that's pretty much that. Thank you. Bye.